It's very tough. This is the toughest part of my business.
When it comes to stone consulting, there's not a lot of people who do it.
About the aesthetic. That's the first step of the process.
Has your childhood and growing up in this place influenced you? Or was it like a natural choice for you to go into the stone industry?
Achieving consistency.
Yes.
It's a quite tough job to do.
Yes.
I'm actually from Carrara, which is a very small town on the north of Tuscany, which is famous for natural marble. Well, the industry of stone is very broad. To be a stone consultant is not an easy job.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Bilna Sandeep Show. I'm your host Bilna Sandeep. As you all know, I am the owner of Built Market Lab, which is a construction marketing agency specialized in UAE. And I am also the business development director of Maven Project Consultants. We are a project management. Before I introduce today's guest, I want you to hear this out. If you search on Google Stone Consultant Dubai, you would probably find a lot of stone suppliers, but just one account that stands out is Stonex Consulting, and which is a very unique thing, which is specialized in consulting for stone. So I want to introduce our guest, who is the founder of Stonex Consulting. Welcome to the show, Vincenzo.
Hi, Bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Would you like to say a little bit about yourself for our audience?
Sure, absolutely. I've been living in Dubai for about 10 years, and I'm from Italy.
Nice.
Accent says I can't hide that, right? It's very easy to guess. I'm actually from Carrara, which is a very small town on the north of Tuscany, which is famous for natural marble, for the white marble, most white marble in the world. Absolutely.
Okay.
So I moved to the region back in 2015. Actually, my first year was in Abu Dhabi, working on the ADNOC headquarter project.
Nice.
And then I moved to Abu Dhabi, to Dubai after that, yeah.
Very nice. So when it comes to stone consulting, there's not a lot of people who do it. Like I mentioned, when I Google for stone consultant Dubai, I think yours is the only stone consultant profile that comes up. Everybody is like stone suppliers or general construction consultants who's doing everything.
Yeah.
So what is that actually you do? Could you explain to our audience?
So, I would like to add a bit of story on this. Coming to the industry about 11 years ago, I was seeing that there was a lot of misunderstanding in the use of natural stone from designers, architects, developers.
Yes.
There was a lot of misconception, was not clear because it's a very variational material and not everybody has deep knowledge into it and knows how to use it. So I found a need in the market, especially here, to create a specialized independent consulting company that basically advises clients and solve the problem of stone selection. The risking project is one of our main objectives, so helping clients selecting the right stone, controlling the quality in the quarries, managing the quality at source before the goods get shipped to UAE. We got an international team in Turkey, Italy, China, and Greece, and a local team in the UAE.
Very nice. And when I was going through your profile, I know you come from Carrara, you mentioned, right? And I was researching what Carrara is, and I found that it's a town in Italy.
It is.
Known for the stones, right? So has your childhood and growing up in this place influenced you? Or was it like a natural choice for you to go into the stone industry?
Well, it wasn't a natural choice because my family doesn't come from the industry. My family
But are there like so many families there who
in
actually
Carrara,
works
of course, yes.
Okay, that's their main livelihood.
Yes. I mean, I can remember going back to high school, how many friends they had parents owning quarries in Carrara and everything. Then the opportunity came after I graduated as building engineer. A stone consultant actually asked me to try to work into the industry, and I joined. I got passionate about it, and then
that's when you actually started learning about the stones and getting deeper into it.
Yes.
Nice. I think Carrara is also known for all the lot of ancient Roman structures which were built from there, right? So I think it's like part of your soul.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you think the history is amazing. I mean, Romans opened the pores in Carrara, so it's over 2,500 years ago. Romans were using travertine from Rome, but the beauty, all the statues come from the material from Carrara, where we have statuario. The name of statuario is basically because it's used for statues, and there is because the material is very strong and very suitable for sculptures.
And now, as you are a stone consultant now, right? When it comes to your clients, how do you advise them which source to bring the stones from? Because like you mentioned, you have your team sitting in Italy, Turkey. So how do you identify which is the right source for the right project?
I like to say that each project has a right stone.
Yes.
And there are mainly 4 elements that we consider in stone selection, which is aesthetic, availability, fit for purpose, and budget. Now, what happens often in projects is that during the specification time, designer architects don't have the deep knowledge of natural stone, so they only evaluate based on aesthetic. And this gives the other 3 elements open, and when the project comes to execution stage, this brings a series of problems that lead to change of the selection of material, and this disrupts the design.
Project.
Yes, the design intent,
the budget,
the idea,
the variation,
everything changes. So we come on board when possible in the design stage, where we work closely with the designers and with the client team, and we assess the selection done by the designers if they are matching all the four elements good. Otherwise, we propose some alternatives, and the designer, they are rightly deciding about the aesthetic. That's the first step of the process, Stonex Consulting process.
So the right time to get you involved on the project is at the design stage.
Ideally, yes.
Right?
There is where the client get the most value.
Do you have instances in which you were not involved on the design stage, and during the construction it all got into mess and you had to get involved?
Often. Actually, the majority of relationship with clients start because they have a problem, or actually they are already in a legal case on an arbitration stage. They call me, we get to know, we work together in that occasion, and then they say, okay, why don't start doing it right at first? And the next project they hire us from design phase.
Right from the start.
But the majority of projects we get involved in execution stage, and clients already have problems there, they already find difficulties, and say then they get to the point of hiring the Stonex.
I've worked as a chartered surveyor for more than 14 years here. During the time, I never came across stone consultant, right? So I think the industry is quite priming up to this. It's a new thing, it's a new niche, right? And how do you educate the industry? How do you let people know the importance and how much they actually can benefit from having you involved, and how it can, even in terms of their whole project timelines and the cost involved, everything can be better with a consultant like you.
Yes.
So how do you actually start?
Well, the best way to educate markets, I use a lot of LinkedIn.
That's how I found you also.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And lunch and learn. I get invited by designer architects to give lunch and learn, so here they understand a bit more about the right process to implement in their projects for natural stone, and then eventually we start working
along with
relationship.
it. Nice. Like what I was thinking is, for example, if it's a design company, they know directly they need to involve an MEP consultant. It's already in their mind. But this is you have to break into the traditional industry and get into it, right? And I know you also mentioned that you had probably worked as a marketing manager and started your own marketing agency at the start of your career after your engineering. So has that impacted your current business? Like, how has it helped you position yourself?
Because I applied a concept brand positioning to my own company, right?
Yes.
Stonex Consulting. And there is where we position in a very specific way.
Yes.
And we differentiated from all the other players in the market. We are not general consultant, we do architecture, we do MEP, we do only one thing, which is stone consulting. It's very specialized. And additionally to that, we are independent.
Yes.
There are other players that mark themselves as stone consultant, but they don't have the element of independency, which in my opinion is very important to provide an advice.
When you say independent, you are not related to any of the suppliers?
Not related to any of the suppliers, not representing any of the suppliers. So it's very important to provide to the clients advice that is free from any conflict of interest. Yes. I believe is the base of it. It's very important.
Because most of the projects which we were involved in, I see the stone supplier itself coming in as a stone consultant, basically saying these are your options available, right? So I now see the point why it's important. Otherwise, there's a chance that they might recommend something that is more easily available to them or what.
Absolutely. Right? That's the tendency. Actually, I like when I explain what we do to a client, I like to compare to the idea of buying a car. I don't know much about cars.
Yes.
So if I go to you to buy a second-hand car and I go to the garage, of course the salesman will give me the best option for him.
Yes.
But if I bring my car expert with me and I ask him to help me selecting the right car and to see if there is any issue, he will provide to me an advice that is independent, right? So this is somehow I like to compare.
The simplest way of comparing.
Yes.
Nice, that's nice. And could you also tell us about what are the different types of stones? Because from somebody who's not an expert, we don't know, right? Like there's marble and probably, you know, in general, what are the different categories available?
So the most used type of stone are marble, granite, limestone, and travertine. That is extremely popular these days. Granite, I don't know if I mentioned already. So there are many. Finding the right stone, it's important for the project, and that comes from there are a lot of aspects to be evaluated.
Where it is going to be, which project.
Exactly.
And I think you do it internationally, you're consulting, not just
we do
UAE,
internationally,
right?
but mainly 90% of our projects are in the UAE.
Yeah. And do you want to talk about some of the issues that you face in your projects? Like, for example, maybe the client wanted a certain kind of look. Probably you felt that might not be the right stone actually for that project. So, and how did you overcome such? How did you actually give them advice?
I can think of an option where we basically 3-4 years back we traveled with an architect from the client side. We went to review some materials to choose together and range selection. During range selection, we review a lot of material and. We decide, we mark all the slabs, what's right, what's not right. I remember that once I left the client going on to put his own remarks, and once this was finished, he was happy and we have a proper stone. I said, actually, I have rejected it because we deal with natural material. When we do range selection, which is extremely important to set up the basis for the project, if the selection is very narrow, means the material is not the right material. So we are dealing still with a natural product. So we need to understand what are the limits of natural. Based on that, understand what can be accepted, not accepted.
Was it difficult to convince the client?
Well, he was surprised. He was not expecting this, but then at the end, the material was
It is more about educating a client on the... Because end of the day, it's good for them.
They don't have the expertise. You know, the suppliers say always yes. And then what they do, they get into the project. Halfway, they start to push boundaries and to push material that is out of range to be accepted. And then if it gets rejected, they stop the supply. And what happens, majority of the project, the client gets left without stone, and then they have a problem, and then they compromise with the quality.
Yes.
So this is unfortunately a game the majority of suppliers play, and it's unfair, in my opinion. Professionals, of course, don't do that. They put the client in front of the right possibilities, and then it's up to the client to say what's right and what's not right.
I also see in the market a lot of things, artificial stones. What are they? I mean, like for a layman, we don't understand the differences, right? What are the benefits of using natural stone versus artificial stone? And what's the reason this artificial stone is in the market?
Extracting stone from quarries is not the easiest of the job, but especially achieving consistency.
Yes.
It's a quite tough job to do.
Yes.
So many years ago, I think around 20 years ago, the ceramic industry, then porcelain, and then reconstructed stone started to produce materials that look like natural.
Yes.
The purpose is to imitate and to give an easier, more accessible material, construction material to designers and architects that want to take the look, but don't have the budget. Or more than that, because I have to say that sometimes the budget for these products is very similar to natural stone. More than that, they don't know how to deal with natural stone.
Probably they don't know how to get that look from the natural stone.
They don't know how to select stone in order to achieve the design intent that I have in mind.
Yes.
They don't know how to compromise on those natural features, but still achieving a beautiful look and feel for their building. So they go for something that is easy to control in some way, but you compromise a lot the authenticity of the project. This is what I like to say. And in luxury nowadays, we see a boom again of the use of natural stone, because clients that pay millions and millions for their houses that are built to last forever, they want authentic. They want authenticity.
Yes.
So this is the main difference, because honestly, from look and feel, the level of similarity to natural stone that the man-made materials has reached is incredible. It's really almost looks similar, like stone, you know, especially in certain finishes and for certain applications. So that's the main difference. They are two very different products, two different purposes. And I like to say, try to enter in a room fully fitted with ceramic, looking like stone. Try to enter in a room fully fitted with natural stone. Feel the energy that you have from a material that has taken millions of years to perform. It's completely different. You feel it. You might be from not expertise, you might sometimes not understand what's the difference.
Yes.
But you feel it. You feel there is something off in one room, and there is something relaxing and natural in the other. Yes.
It's just like being in nature.
Absolutely.
That kind of feeling you get because it's a natural product that's around you. I've also seen mentioned in one of your LinkedIn posts that a good design combined with a not expensive stone is better than a bad design with a...
You did your research, huh? I can see it. Yeah.
So what is that about?
Design, quality of design is always more important than the quality of the materials being used. So if we take, for example, statuario from Italy, is one of the most expensive materials in the world, right? Natural stone. But if it's not well used, it might look cheap. Yes. So sometimes having a good quality, sometimes the majority of the times having good quality of design is more important than using expensive materials. You can use average price or normal price material, but with a great design, it will look beautiful.
So it's not about what you put, how you put and where you put also makes a difference.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think it's 80-20. If I had to use a person, it's 80% the design, 20% the materials. Yeah. Great designers can make simple material look beautiful, look expensive, look luxurious.
Nice. I'm sure you work closely with a lot of architects, right? So what is your experience like? Because the architect might have something in mind, and for you to give them that right solution, how do you draw the line of getting their expectation, probably their expectation level is here, and to give that exact product that matches their expectation?
It's challenging, but at the end, I consider what I do service to help designers and architects to deliver their vision.
Yes.
So when we discuss materials, we don't really go too deep into the selection at first, but we go more into, I like to understand what is their vision, what is their design intent, what they want to achieve, what is the color palette that they're using.
Yes.
So not just the stone, so we look at all the materials, and from there, when I'm able to pick their mind and understand what they want to achieve, then I can propose.
You actually reverse engineer there. You reverse engineer what they want.
Exactly.
Right?
At that point, I can say, look, you have this option, this option that I believe it could help you to give deliver the design intent that you have in mind.
Nice.
So,
and then the next step is you helping them get the samples to choose. How is that like the next process?
So after that, this is during specification during the design phase. Samples are necessary to be able to compare, to use it in the palette of the other materials. And once a stone is signed off, then we proceed with the specs. Now, samples are never enough.
Yes.
Because a sample usually is a very small sample,
size,
which is not representative of the nature of the stone and how the look.
And they have its natural veins and lines.
Exactly. Right? So what I do usually is, we provide a sample, but also picture of slabs.
Okay.
Pictures of slabs, several of them are necessary for the designer to understand what to expect. It's about managing the expectation, right? If you base your expectation on a small sample, you might get a different
and
then
especially
get
in the stone, it comes with its own directions of lines and right. So it's more of working closely and making at every step together.
Yes.
And now let's go to the topic of sustainability, right? Because a lot of times there's a lot of discussions nowadays around sustainability. So in terms of natural stone, what are the sustainability steps that people are taking in the construction?
Look, I like to bring up a number that I heard a few years back in a presentation from actually Brazilian stone fabricators.
Okay.
To produce 1 square meter of natural stone, it takes 1/10 of the energy that it takes to produce 1 square meter of man-made material looking like stone.
So in terms of the carbon footprint.
Yes. So natural stone is way more sustainable to man-made materials, and this is something obvious somehow. To the point that I've not seen this trend in the region yet, but in other parts of the world, natural stone is coming back as a structural material to replace block works of other materials because it's highly sustainable.
Do you also have this? Like a lot of times they talk about the quarries, and is there like any natural issues that happen? Because I've heard people talk that firstly it might not be renewable, right? Like after some point, will the stones run out? And what's the thought process on that side?
Look, there are a very strict regulation from governments in terms of managing quarries.
Yes.
So once a quarry is exhausted in terms of material, the owners who have got the license are obliged to cover it up, plant trees. So basically to restore the natural environment for animals and So
and stone is like a long-term material. It stays forever. Like if you look at the Roman structures, the ancient Roman structures, it's a lot of it is built out of marble and it's natural stones.
If you go there, if you visit Rome, I mean, it's full of travertine everywhere, and it's been standing for thousands of years.
Yes. And I also wanted to go back to your other business. Do you want to share about Barberia Italiana? Right?
Yeah.
What is that about? I mean, which is your other phase?
It's a side business. Not many know about that, but back in time, when I owned a marketing agency, I founded this brand with a partner at the time. Barberia Italiana is a high-end gent salon. It's a chain. We have branches in Italy and here in Dubai. It's a business that has a purpose to elevate the feeling of men of taking care of themselves in a better way and feeling better. So it's a very, very nice spot. We have 3 branches here in Dubai at the moment, 4 soon. One is in Mercato Mall, which was the first one, DFC and Dubai Marina, and soon in Creek.
So you have the 4th branch is opening up here.
Yes.
Was that the first business you opened in Dubai or Stonex?
No. Stonex was the first.
You started off with Stonex and then later on Barberia.
Yeah.
But it was there in Italy.
It was already in Italy. So after moving here, in Abu Dhabi first.
Okay.
After a year, when I moved to Dubai, I said, okay, why not to bring a bit of Italian touch to Dubai?
Nice.
It was something missing in the scenery. There were not too many barbershops at that level, and that's what we did. I brought it to Dubai.
Nice. Now, I just want to talk about the personal branding aspect for people like you who are business owners, leaders in construction. And I know you actually spend time posting on LinkedIn and you're very active. And I know you come from a marketing background and we're discussing it's not about the tools, it's about the fundamentals. Do you want to get into this? How do you?
Well, I believe that all of us have somehow we have the responsibility to share our knowledge.
Yes.
So if we know or we keep things for ourselves, other people don't get to know.
Yes.
So about sharing what we know is going to help other people to grow, to become better, to get to know more about a specific topic. And at the same time, we get positioned in an industry as the expert because people get to know that we know.
Yes.
So I believe it's essential in nowadays world to share knowledge with people and let them know what's your vision, what you're putting out, what is your expertise, and then who is happy to work with you, is interested to work with you, eventually will do that.
They'll come to you, they'll find you because you are already active.
But it starts from a sense of responsibility. This is what I like.
Sharing the right information.
Yes. Yes, to educate the market, to improve the market, to elevate an industry. This is the mission that I personally have.
One thing I see is construction industry, they might have high-end technology developing, everything is doing. But on the digital side, I still feel it's very primitive and just getting there.
Yes.
What do you feel about it? Do you also feel the same?
I agree with you. I mean, there is a big gap between what's happening in a construction site and what we're talking here.
Yes.
Because a lot of things get compromised in the middle, unfortunately. But more people that are actually involved in the project should be elevated to this kind of knowledge, should be exposed more to this kind of knowledge. Because at the end, if all of us does a little bit, it's a lot for everybody, right?
Exactly. So like what I see is like they are all busy with the projects, but very less people are actively sharing information online, be it on the website or on LinkedIn or any social platform. And mostly it's very traditional forms of marketing. I see like door to door. You send a business development person or a salesperson, knock the doors. It's still a lot.
It's still construction industry, still an industry of connections.
Yes.
Networking, connections. I believe in that, but the digital side is coming up because all of us exposed to digital, to Instagram, LinkedIn, media, right? So eventually this is what it's gonna play a relevant role for companies in the industry.
It's more about who takes advantage and starts leveraging it faster.
Yes.
They can grow better.
Yes.
This is what even I feel and I strongly believe in as a construction, like we work with a lot of construction leaders and I see that, and when I scroll on LinkedIn, I always see your post, so it just comes back to me. Okay, Vincenzo is there. So I mean, that's also
it's a reminder. Yeah,
it's a reminder for people, right?
Yeah.
And what is your take on networking? You also mentioned about that, right? Networking, and what about the industry events? How important are they for the construction?
Very important, because even if the digital plays an important role, it's never like the human touch.
Yes.
Look,
you need to see in person.
Yes, last night I was attending an event and I was just sitting on a table with a guy who started to talk. I said, "Oh, you're a stone consultant." Actually, this morning, someone asked me about something like this. I didn't know anyone. Good, give me your contact. You know, like that happened right away. It's not always like this, of course, but connecting with people, especially for us, that we are hyper specialized.
Yes.
Letting people know that stone consultant exists in the market, and if they need, they can make use of it, and what kind of use, what kind of advantage they can take from a stone consultant. It's very important.
I think you were also speaking at an event in China.
Yeah, I was in Shanghai.
Nice.
I was invited to be a speaker at the China Architecture and Design Exhibition, which is one of the biggest in China. I was in Xiamen last March, April. Xiamen is the biggest stone fair worldwide. So yeah, it's again, it's part of my mission to share knowledge with the industry, to elevate the industry and make it better for the little I can.
And do you have any specific advice, clients, right, the developers, or probably even investors who are getting their own homes probably, right, on stone selection processes? Like, what should their thought process be?
Stone selection starts on understanding what is the look and feel that you want to get. Yes. So the presence of a designer is relevant. Clients can do by themselves. Private homes could pick up by yourself, but if stone is associated with the wrong materials around, you're never gonna create a look. So the presence of the good designer plays an important role as the first step. During stone selection, I recommend to clients to go in big warehouses where they have the chance to review a lot of materials and not rely on suppliers that they give them options, but be open, go out there, visit these huge factories with a lot of stone. You will be impressed, and all your idea and perception of natural stone is going to expand, and actually you're going to really understand the possibilities that are there. And you might start with an idea in mind, and you might end up getting something else.
New.
Yes.
Nice. And the same for the designers and architects. How should they expect to work with you on both sides?
Again, it starts with the stone selection. So the first step is selecting the right stone, and we are what we do is a support to designers. Again, we don't replace their job. Okay. Some they might take as, okay, if I have a stone consultant means my role is less important. No, absolutely. We are an engine to deliver the vision that the designer has in mind and wants to deliver in their project. Often, if someone like us is not involved in design phase, which is the first of the project, what ends happening is that the design gets changed later on. Many times the designers finish their work at the design phase and then they disappear from the picture. Okay. And then they end up going to see the final result. It's totally different from what they have designed and from the idea that they had to deliver, to the point that sometimes they're shameful to put in their portfolio. They say, no, I will not put this in my portfolio. So to avoid this, it's the possibility to avoid this is to work with Stonex Consulting and avoid the problem. Always comes to budget. That's the main problem. Since the beginning, since the specifications.
And also come back to one more side, growth of your business, right? Because they say as you grow, you have to delegate and stone consulting is not a very common field. So how are you finding talent? And how are you growing them?
It's very tough. This is the toughest part of my business. But luckily, I have good guys in my team. Internationally, I work mainly with people that already have a background and experience in natural stone. Locally, which is more difficult to find talent, I hire people that have a good eye. That's essential for me to understand the people that have a good eye.
Observation skills?
Yes, because they can understand if something is off. And from there, I train them.
Training them.
A lot of training.
So you take them together to all the projects and make them understand more and more.
Yes, that's one aspect. Together with that, I had to create very strict procedures.
Yes.
I had to take my knowledge, narrowing down to steps A, B, C, D, and giving them to steps and train them with these steps to make stone consulting and quality control almost almost predictable.
You have a lot of checklists and SOPs for your team.
How to carry on a specific inspection of a dry lay, how to carry on with slab inspection. So all these.
So for each element, you have a proper
SOP,
checklist and SOP for your team. Because for me, I think it's a challenge for most of the businesses finding the right talent, especially if they are in a niche industry.
Yes.
Right? Because even for me, I'm in a construction marketing as a niche industry. For me to find the talent is also not so easy. That's why I was asking you this question more from my personal side. How do you find the talent and train?
No, it became a necessity for me. To find someone that already knows what to do.
Yes.
It's basically impossible.
Yes.
So I had to take the way I think.
The right attitude and the right observation skills.
Yes, what is the process I usually use naturally with the experience I got on selecting stone, on running quality control, inspecting dry lays and selecting. And then I put it down in steps. So I broke in different steps and I gave to them as a step by step.
Checklists and SOPs. And now before we wind up the session, I want to ask about what is your advice to people who are coming into this industry, stone consultants, somebody probably a young engineer out there who's just completing, and now what's the next step to get into an industry like this?
Well, the industry of stone, I would say as a general, is very broad. To be a stone consultant is not easy. It's not an easy job because, again, we do a lot of education towards development, design, and architects, why they should work with a stone consultant, especially in the region. Because in the US or UK, it's more common practice for designers to hire a stone consultant. Especially in large-scale project where you have a lot of natural stone and somehow this has to be managed. Here is still at the incipit, and that's the beginning of the process.
Start in this part of the
clients are starting to understand how working with a stone consultant, an independent stone consultant, can make the difference. But with that comes also a problem that a lot of people coming to the industry are also not qualified, or they don't have the element of independency. That somehow brings project to not having the best interest for the client or for the project itself. I always say, I don't work for anyone. I don't work for the client, I don't work for the contractor, I don't work for the consultant. I work for the project. My objective is to deliver the best possible project I can with the budget and with the material selection that we have. So that's the element, the highest element of independence I can think of. But
the major advice is that somebody has to come with that independent thought process, passion, and patience to get into this industry.
My advice is don't become a stone consultant. It's very, or join us, or join my team. That's the best
and you will
way.
train them.
Look, myself, I started working with a stone consultant, and then I had a bit of different vision in the way of developing the the business and the idea of a stone consulting firm. The majority of stone consultants worldwide are people with a lot of. I also have white hair, but they have more than me. So, first
they had
time
to be in the industry for so long.
Yes, for 30 years, 40 years, and then they are considered stone consultants. So I remember first time having a meeting. We just moved to Abu Dhabi, and everybody was impressed to say how this young guy can be a stone consultant. They were expecting someone
Your
with
hair is not yet
white.
grey.
Yes. So this is a common thing, but I believe that a stone consultant has to provide solution to clients, drive the project forward, and be very practical, which is the main thing that a lot of consultants are lacking. Being practical. I mean, I always say rejecting stone is very easy. Everybody can go there, review the material, say I don't like it, reject it. But at the end, the clients need to build their buildings, and they need to finish on time. So it's not just about rejecting if it's not the right product. It's how we help the stone contractor or the contractor to deliver the right product.
So providing a solution is also
providing
important,
a solution.
right?
So to have an attitude of providing solution to the client, to say, okay, look, this doesn't work, but what you can do is this. Right. This is my approach and what I share with my client, with my team. It's very important. We have this kind of
approach.
Yes, we are problem solvers. We are not there to put a block on a project. Even because the industry, especially in Dubai, going at a very fast pace. They require this kind of.
They want everything yesterday.
Yes. And honestly, if you become a problem, you often get kicked out.
Yes. So you have to be the problem solver, not the problem maker in the project.
Absolutely.
Amazing advice. Thank you so much, Vincenzo, for being on our show. And thanks to our audience. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and also comment if you have any specific questions regarding stone consulting. I hope you can answer them in the comments as well. In any case, we'll leave the contact details of Vincenzo and how you can find him on LinkedIn and other sources as well in the description of the show. Thank you so much, and see you.